Hello, host Eric here. We're talking about debate. I've got, I could have sworn Unify was in here. Wasn't Unify talking to me a second ago? Or is he
Mm-hmm.
invisible? Oh, you're playing that thing again. You're doing that thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm invisible.
You're doing Invisible Unify. Okay, and we got Invisible Unify in the house. We've also got Hami, JD, Lorenz, Kiwi Sauce, and Eric. Um, and we're talking about now the other side of the flow, the aft side. People who are born affirmers, people who are born thinking they're going to do shit with language rather than bust shit up with language. Okay, so the aft debaters are, we've got style number one called the Fortress Builder. The Fortress Builder is an aft style that's, I think a lot of people sort of think this must be what it's like to do debate. Where they come and they want to build a really, really strong AF case. They're going to know their own AF case. They're affirming for these reasons. They've established certain things like impacts, and they've established that this is a problem. They've covered inherency. They've set it up so like, okay, yes, we have a problem in the status quo. Yes, there are barriers in the status quo. Yes, my plan achieves solvency. Yes, my plan can do so in a reasonable time frame. Yes, my like that. Like, the Fortress Builders, they want to make sure their AF case is tight and they're not going to lose on AF. That's what they think going in. And they just hope they don't hit any NTPs. ESTJs can be beast debaters. Scott Wheeler's ESTJ is absolutely beast. ESFJ, no, they're not good, but they're willing to fight. Unlike ISFJ, ISFP, INFP, they don't want to fight, and there's no reason to try to get them to fight, and it's silly. ESFJ has plenty of fight in her, but she's just not a very good debater. Although they can learn to imitate rhetorical techniques without understanding what they're doing on the thinking level. So, okay, the second style is the Carpet Bomber. The Carpet Bomber is the ENFP and ESFP personality types, and they are the Carpet Bombers because they get one thing intuitively about debate. People getting hurt, people dying, people suffering, that's a good impact. They can use that impact to win debate rounds. And so their natural state for an AF case is to throw as many impacts onto the flow as possible. They're the ones who are going to have your terminal impacts. They're going to say, and this is going to lead to nuclear war, and everyone's going to die. So we can't possibly not do something. We got to do something, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this because if we don't, oh my God, everybody dies. It's a problem with inherency that they're going to run into. Inherency says that there's a significant problem in the status quo that has to be dealt with. And something is said to not have inherency if, for example, I suggest, I've got a great plan. Let's make it so you don't have to pay for breathing air. Well, you don't have to pay in the status quo. That's not a plan. Okay, well, how about this then? In my new plan, you're going to be able to scratch your head with a pencil whenever you want. I can already do that. There's no inherency, okay? Another kind of inherency is the kind of like this. I've got a great solution to crime. From now on, everyone be super cool. Well, it's an inherency problem because there's no barrier to that solution in the status quo. It's not like people were just waiting around for you to think that up. Oh, he's right. We should stop robbing each other. That would solve this whole crime thing. You know, it's like there's no inherency because there's no barrier to that solution already existing in the status quo. You're not really taking any action. All right, so that's the inherency issue. And carpet bombers tend to have inherency problems because they're simply arguing horrible things that are existing in the world right now in the status quo. That's why they're natural affirmers. So we have to do something. So that's your ENFP and ESFP, carpet bomber style.
It sounds like most politicians.
Right. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if most politicians are ENFPs and ESFPs. They're the ones endowed with all the FE. Well, actually, ENFPs aren't. ESFPs are. All right, technicians, ESTPs. The technician is the opposite, or it's the flip side of the coin of the mechanic dismantler one on the neg side. In this one, they try to dot all their I's and cross their T's, and they're not so much worried about their case, any single part of their case, like the fortress builder is. The fortress builder is going to have parts of their cases that rely on each other for the whole thing to stay standing, whereas the technician is going to try to spread you out. They're going to have a lot of different arguments on the flow. If they lose some, it doesn't matter. They're gonna try to read as much evidence as they can, get as much down the flow as possible, and hope you drop stuff. Well, I had my fifth argument, subpoint F, says I quoted this weird article that somehow linked to if we do what they say, then the moon will break in half, and they dropped it. It's still standing. So, Judge, you can't vote for them without having the moon break in half. Not because the moon's actually going to break in half, but because they dropped it. It's a technique thing, right? All right, so that's ESTP. They get the mechanics. Their TI is strong, but they don't want to really argue the arguments. They want to argue the mechanics. So the last type is the avoider. INFJ is the beast in the avoider style. ISTP is potentially could be doing that okay, but they don't really like debate that much. The avoider doesn't want to argue the point. The avoider wants to argue something else. So, if I'm an avoider and the resolution is something like the United States should substantially increase education, the avoider has a case that says local governments should plant more trees. And then the actual case, the only thing in the case is a bunch of shit that says why that should count as as substantially improving education. Well, of course that's substantially improving education. Whenever you plant a tree, you are teaching the earth to love. Well, yeah, if you let an avoider debate the point on their ground that they define, you're going to end up arguing against, puppies are cute and donuts are sweet. It's like that's not the resolution. So whereas technicians have inherency issues. Whereas carpet bombers have inherency issues, whereas technicians have argumentation issues because they're only interested in the technique. The avoiders, they have topicality issues. They have topicality issues, and their favorite kind of debate is to make something that's super, super easy to affirm, like stabbing yourself in the face hurts. Okay, what does that have to do with education? And then they'll give you a whole bunch of shit that makes it seem like it has something to do with education, so they don't have to actually affirm something that's hard to affirm. I don't like this style. I don't like it at all. I hate topicality. Topicality bullshit. But the thing is, the best way to do with topicality bullshit, instead of trying to challenge them, everybody gets this wrong. People go, no, planting trees is an education. But that's not the way to beat that. You go, oh, I see. Oh, that's the mechanism we're using to determine when things are other things? So because the earth changes in a way that suggests metaphorically that it's learned something, that counts as education? Fantastic, good. So we've got a problem. You killed everybody in America. You killed them all. Because I'm defining killing according to the same mechanism that you use to define education. And reciprocal burdens tell me that if you can use that kind of mechanism to define shit, then I can too. Now, you only attain, through your bullshit definitional trick here, you managed to attain some impacts, like helping education. But your case is done being made. You've made all the assertions you're going to make. You made all the claims you're going to make. And my impacts are vastly, vastly huger because I've shown by your same species reasoning that everybody in the country dies. So, Judge, you got two sets of impacts to compare. On the one hand, he's improving education with his bullshit non-topical case. On the other hand, he's killing every single human being in America. So, unless you want to kill everyone, vote for me. That's the problem with the avoider. is they have to make ridiculous ground arguments. They have to define things in ridiculous ways to narrow the ground if it's going to work. And yeah. So, I mean, obviously I align with the negators, not the affirmers anyway. But the best affirmer style is the fortress style, for sure. And then the best default negation style is the INTP style, the water style. But the thing is, the actual best negation style is the combo style that I use for both AF and neg, which is, it's the opposite of the avoider. It's the, yeah, I can eat all that and everything else. Give it to me. So you make massive claims. Not only should we substantially improve investment in education, we should tear down all the existing schools, build them all up again, take every piece of money from everybody in the country to do it. You know, like, whatever you think that your weak spot is, you make the boldest fucking possible claims there. And you say, yeah, we should do that. And 1,000,000 times more, too. Because then, the reason you want to do it that way instead is because you can always pull back to the ground you have to maintain to win the round. You can't expand nearly as easily. All right, okay, all right, fine. Well, maybe not everybody. Maybe not take all the money from everybody. Maybe just most of the money from everybody. No, and they're still arguing out there in places that don't matter at all, that aren't relevant to winning the round. They're battling you over your ridiculous claim and not noticing the fact that the claims you actually need to maintain and to win the point are way over here, far, far away from the battlefield. So that's why I like to use that style of debate. I call it the, I don't know. I don't have a name for it, but it's the big claim style, you know? Yeah, if you're concerned that might be, well, but then they're going to say this. Well, if you think you know what they're going to say, then definitely make that argument. Because if you know what they're going to say, then there should never, that's whatever they say should never win if you already know what it is. And so that's why I like to, like, for the China case, I'm telling the policy guys, let's fucking let's do Taiwan as an independent country. And every policy debater I've talked to has said, are you fucking crazy? You can't, that's the weakest spot you can they're going to link straight to nuclear war. You mean they're going to link straight to my discourse, Kay, on Apocalyptic Talk, right? Because those nuclear war links are weak. So the whole point of it is invite them. Say, here you go. I've fucking set up the table. I've got all the dishes set up. I've got the chairs. I've got some nice music. I've got this dinner party set up for you perfectly. Come, feast with your terminal impact links. Feast on my horribly ill-advised Taiwan AF. Well, it's not horribly ill-advised because right off the bat, they're saying, well, okay, look. They come in and they go, well, we know they're not going to do something like that because then we'd link straight to nuclear war. And they don't want to deal with that at all. They don't want to give us all those impacts. Well, I don't agree with you. I think those impacts you're positioning are bullshit. I think I can win on those impacts. I can point out not only are they bullshit, but they're counterproductive. That they make things worse when we talk about bullshit impacts like that. I'm gonna go pre-fiat, as they say. Talk about how you're not just losing in this debate round, you're hurting society with your wrongness. You know, by perpetuating the wrongness that you perpetuate, you're hurting society, and that's how that plays out. So I don't remember. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this topic, unless there's any questions or anybody wants to talk about it more.
No, I agree with you.
All right, cool. Well, I hope those of you at home enjoyed me articulating the different styles of debaters and which types align with them. If you think that my debate style doesn't match up with your type as indicated, then it's because it's wrong, because I just kind of made it up. I mean, I like everything else, I just kind of made it up. But this one I really was like, well, I got to put some letters next to that one. So, okay, ISTP, you're that. I don't know. Some of them are legit. Like water style and ENTP style, I've noticed plenty before. I know ESTJ style AFs as well. I also know INFJ style avoidance. All those ones are things that I have lots of personal experience seeing in action. But the other type ones, ESFP carpet bombing too. That's fucking right on the money. They all do it. ENFP, they don't really have very many of them. But they're the same style. Like Addie's an ENFP, and she carpet bombs. She's always talking about people's feelings and them getting hurt and stuff. So yeah, that's that for that. Thanks for watching.